Welcome to Hollywood Echoes, where the untold stories of Tinseltown come to life. From legendary icons to shocking scandals, we uncover the secrets hidden behind the glitz and glamour. If you love Hollywood's golden past and its most controversial moments, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a story. Richard Burton. Known for his commanding presence on screen, Richard Burton's love for alcohol was just as legendary. His reputation for drinking heavily was well known in Hollywood, and over the years it had an undeniable impact on his career and health. Burton's tumultuous relationship with Elizabeth Taylor often made headlines, but it was his battle with alcoholism that really took its toll. The years of heavy drinking led to severe liver disease, causing multiple hospitalizations. His addiction didn't just affect his health, it also created a series of personal and professional challenges. Burton's brilliance as an actor was overshadowed by his struggles with alcohol. In 1984, he tragically passed away from a cerebral hemorrhage, marking the end of a brilliant career that could have continued for many more years had he overcome his addiction. Errol Flynn. The swashbuckling hero of Hollywood's golden age, Errol Flynn lived a life filled with excess, adventure, and debauchery. Known for his roles in action-packed films, Flynn's off-screen life was equally reckless, filled with wild parties, drinking, and risky escapades. His excessive alcohol consumption and reckless lifestyle eventually caught up to him, leaving his body ravaged by health problems. He suffered from liver damage, heart disease, and other complications brought on by years of drinking. By the time Flynn passed away from a heart attack at just 50 years old, his body had already endured a great deal of abuse, shortening what could have been an even more remarkable career. His tragic death left Hollywood mourning the loss of a star who had the potential for so much more. Oliver Reed. Known for his powerful performances on screen, Oliver Reed was equally notorious for his out-of-control behavior off-screen. His heavy drinking and wild antics became a central part of his public image. While filming Gladiator, Reed's drinking reached dangerous levels. In fact, during the production, he reportedly consumed a massive amount of alcohol during a drinking challenge, which ultimately led to a fatal heart attack. His colleagues and fans mourned the loss of a talented actor whose personal struggles with alcohol overshadowed his professional achievements. Reed's career was cut short, and his death served as a sobering reminder of the dangers of addiction, especially in an industry where excess was often celebrated. W.C. Fields. A legendary comedian, W.C. Fields used his battle with alcohol as both a source of humor and a means of coping with his personal demons. Fields's lifelong struggle with alcoholism was well documented, and he often incorporated his drinking habits into his comedy routines, making light of his own addiction. However, the consequences of his drinking were far from humorous. Fields eventually developed cirrhosis of the liver, along with a series of other health issues, all stemming from his excessive drinking. As his health deteriorated, he began to isolate himself from friends and family. By the time he passed away in 1946, Fields's body had been ravaged by years of alcohol abuse. His legacy is one of both laughter and tragedy, a brilliant comic talent whose addiction ultimately took its toll. Dudley Moore. Known for his charm, wit, and comedic brilliance, Dudley Moore's life was marred by his long battle with alcohol addiction. Despite his immense success in both comedy and drama, Moore struggled with the personal demons of alcoholism for many years. His addiction caused numerous personal and professional difficulties, affecting his relationships, his health, and his career. Over the years, Moore's health began to deteriorate, and he was eventually diagnosed with progressive supranuclear palsy, a rare degenerative disease that left him unable to communicate properly. His years of heavy drinking undoubtedly exacerbated his condition, and despite his efforts to continue working, his health declined rapidly. Dudley Moore passed away at the age of 66, leaving behind a legacy of both laughter and heartache. His story serves as a poignant reminder of the devastating effects of addiction, even for those who had the world at their feet. John Barrymore, a key figure in the famous Barrymore acting dynasty, John Barrymore's promising career was marred by his dependence on alcohol. His excessive drinking was well known in Hollywood, and it became an obstacle that he couldn't overcome. Often seen drunk on set, Barrymore's behavior led to lost opportunities and damaged relationships with colleagues. His reputation as a talented actor was overshadowed by his struggles with addiction. In 1942, John Barrymore passed away due to complications related to his drinking, marking the tragic end of a once great career. His legacy is one that his descendants, including Drew Barrymore, have had to carry, grappling with the shadow of his own personal demons. Montgomery Clift. Once regarded as one of Hollywood's most promising stars, Montgomery Clift's life took a tragic turn after a near-fatal car accident that left him physically and emotionally scarred. The accident, which occurred in 1956, had a lasting impact on Clift, and he began to rely heavily on alcohol as a means of coping with his pain. His addiction only intensified over the years, and it ultimately contributed to his early death at the age of 45. Montgomery Clift passed away from a heart attack in 1966, a heartbreaking loss for an actor who had already given some of the most powerful and memorable performances in film history. His career was cut short by his struggles with substance abuse, and his death left a void in Hollywood that could never be filled. William Holden. An Academy Award-winning actor, William Holden's personal battles were as tragic as the roles he played. For years, Holden struggled with alcohol, and his addiction took a fatal toll. One night, after drinking heavily, he tragically fell in his home, striking his head and bleeding to death. His death was a tragic reminder of how addiction can isolate even the most celebrated of stars. By the time of his death in 1981, Holden had spent his later years increasingly withdrawn, his once vibrant career overshadowed by his dependence on alcohol. Despite his immense talent, his personal struggles left him alone, and his death marked the loss of one of Hollywood's most revered actors. George Best, known for his extraordinary talent on the football field, George Best's struggles with alcohol were just as legendary. His lifestyle, which mirrored that of a Hollywood star, was full of partying and excessive drinking. Best's addiction to alcohol took a heavy toll on his health, leading to multiple liver transplants and eventually liver failure. Despite several attempts at sobriety, Best was never able to fully break free from his addiction. He passed away at the age of 59, leaving behind a legacy that was as much about his brilliance on the football field as it was about the tragedy of his personal life. His story is a heartbreaking reminder of the devastating effects of substance abuse, even for someone with so much talent and potential. Andre the Giant, known for his imposing size and iconic status in the world of wrestling and acting, Andre the Giant was also notorious for his alcohol consumption. The legend of Andre's drinking habits became as famous as his wrestling career. He was known to consume an incredible amount of alcohol daily, reportedly drinking dozens of beers and bottles of wine. His excessive drinking eventually caught up to him, contributing to his heart failure at just 46 years old. Andre's death in 1993 was a loss to both the wrestling world and Hollywood, as he was not only a towering figure in the ring, but also a beloved character in films like The Princess Bride. His larger-than-life persona was matched only by his struggles with addiction, which ultimately shortened his life. Veronica Lake. A dazzling starlet of the 1940s, Veronica Lake was the epitome of beauty and talent, rising to fame with a string of successful films. However, her career and health soon took a devastating turn due to her struggle with alcohol. Once a Hollywood icon, Lake's personal issues became public, and her reputation for being unreliable began to tarnish her career. The consequences of her addiction were far-reaching, causing her to lose valuable opportunities and spend much of her later years in near poverty. At just 50 years old, Veronica Lake passed away from complications related to cirrhosis, a tragic end to what could have been an even more illustrious career. Her story serves as a haunting reminder of how addiction can derail the brightest of stars. Bela Lugosi. Known for his iconic portrayal of Count Dracula, Bela Lugosi's career was forever linked to the dark, brooding character he played on screen. However, the very darkness he portrayed in his films became a reflection of his personal life. Lugosi's battle with alcohol and drug addiction severely impacted his health and his career. His once promising career spiraled downward, and his struggles with substance abuse led to declining health. He spent his final years in near obscurity, living in financial ruin and battling heart failure. The once legendary actor, whose portrayal of Dracula cemented his place in film history, ended his life far removed from the fame he once enjoyed, leaving behind a legacy of both brilliance and tragedy. Truman Capote. Truman Capote, celebrated as a literary genius, lived a life as turbulent and complex as the stories he wrote. While Capote's fame was built on his talents as a writer, his addiction to alcohol became the defining force in his later years. His alcoholism led to erratic behavior and strained relationships with those around him, including his peers and literary community. His struggles with addiction contributed to the onset of liver disease, and by the time he died at the age of 59, Capote had become a shadow of his former self. His death left behind a legacy of unfinished work and a reputation as both a brilliant and troubled artist. Capote's life serves as a cautionary tale about the destructive power of addiction, even for those with immense talent. Gig Young. Gig Young was once an Oscar-winning actor celebrated for his roles in both drama and comedy. However, his success on the screen did not shield him from the ravages of alcohol addiction. Young's battle with alcoholism took a heavy toll on his career and personal life, with his reputation tarnished by erratic behavior and personal struggles. Tragically, his addiction culminated in a devastating murder-suicide in which he took the life of his wife before ending his own. The shocking event sent ripples through Hollywood, leaving a tragic mark on his once promising career. Gig Young's story stands as a stark reminder of how addiction can unravel even the most accomplished of individuals, leaving behind destruction and heartbreak. Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney's life was a roller coaster of fame, fortune, and struggle. Once one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, he became a household name due to his roles in both film and television. However, despite his immense success, Rooney's later years were marred by alcohol addiction and financial difficulties. His long-standing battle with alcoholism severely impacted his health and relationships, and his financial woes only added to his troubles. By the time he reached his later years, Rooney was living in relative obscurity, his name no longer synonymous with stardom. He passed away at the age of 93, but his life serves as a cautionary tale about the price of fame and the devastating effects of addiction. His story is a reminder that the struggles of addiction can cast a shadow over even the brightest stars, no matter their achievements. That's all for today's story from Hollywood Echoes. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Hollywood's dark side, make sure to leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating stories from the world of fame and fortune. See you in the next one.